Matters in the marriage. Let's talk about it. Matters in the marriage. Let's talk about it. By Dr. Christiana Akede. Let's talk about it.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to this month's episode of Matters in Marriage. It's a pleasure this morning to be with you once again as we discuss all types of matters in marriage. Welcome in-house and online. Wherever you are, we are welcoming you today. And by the special grace of God, we have a couple that we're going to be sharing. They're going to be sharing their journey with us. And I just want you to have the opportunity to learn, to relearn, to unlearn some of the things that can help to make your marital journey a bliss instead of stress. I know marriage is something that we all, at some point in our lives, we desire to be married. Fortunately, sometimes marriage happens to be one of the best experiences to some people. To some, has been the greatest or the worst experience. Sometimes it's been like, why did I get myself into this situation? Other times it's been like, oh God, I thank you. And it's not like that we are perfect and trying to say, oh, we have like a cookie cutter solution to all the problems. No, we are not perfect. We are not here to judge you, not to condemn you. We're here to just share life experiences so that you can get one or two things to apply in your relationship. Someone will say a lot of people have good ideas about marriage, but sometimes good ideas are not good enough. So this morning I have with me brother Mr. Shodiya and the beautiful wife Moronke Shodiya. They're going to be sharing their journey with us. They've been together for a minute. I've known this couple for a very long time. It's a great pleasure and honor to have you on Matters in Marriage. Welcome, my brother Rotimi Shodiya, my beautiful sister Moronke Shodiya. You are welcome to Matters in Marriage.
Thank you, ma. We are so honored that you called us.
Yes.
And to my beautiful queen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us for this, and I hope people will learn from it, and it'll be good.
Yes. I've known them for a very, very long time. We've been together, but today they're going to be sharing with us some of their experiences, some of their triumph moments, some of the moments where they can say, oh, maybe if I look back now, I will have done things differently. All is an idea for us to just learn so that we can apply something to our relationship. Marriage is beautiful. God instituted marriage. Marriage is an experience. It's a teamwork. It's a journey. And it doesn't matter how you start your marriage. We've seen people who've invested thousands of dollars in their marriage and it doesn't last. And we've seen people who do not even go through that process and they make a very good use of the opportunity to share life with somebody. I'm going to start by asking, let's start from Genesis.
Genesis, no.
Yeah. Let's start from the Genesis. How did it all started? How?
Of course, you I think ladies first, please. My queen, please go ahead.
Okay, so it all started in 1992? 93?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in 93. So we met through a common friend.
Excellent.
Actually, she ended up being my maid of honor, and she's one of my cool people.
Mm-hmm.
So we were friends in school at PG Community College, and I didn't know he attended the school either. So my friend said she was having a birthday party. It was in December. That she was having a birthday party that we should just come and just cool off and from the semester and all. I said, okay, I'll come. So we went, not knowing we were going to his apartment for the party. So still, I didn't know who he was. So we got there, had our fun. I just saw him and his friend came in, and then they went back out. And I didn't even notice him. So when we were about to leave, he came back in and was talking to my friend. And I was just standing there just waiting for them to finish their conversation so we could leave. So eventually we left, and that was it for that day. Now come day 2, my friend called me and said, "Oh, the guy we went to his house for the party, he's interested in you." I'm like, "Who?" She said, "The guy." I said, "Which guy?" She said, "The one I was talking to when we were leaving." I said, "Oh, I wasn't even looking at anybody, because back then, when I came here for strictly school. I had to finish my degree in 4 years, and nothing is stopping me. So when I was in PG then, no guy could even come to me and talk to me, because my face is always focused and, serious and."
Yeah.
So, and she said she told him that, "I don't think this girl will answer you, because she's so focused, she's so serious with her education, she won't answer you." But he sent her and told her, "Just go talk to her for me." So she talked to me, and I'm like, "Let me think about it. I don't know about that." And then another friend called me again and said, "Oh, this guy is asking about you. He wants to talk to you." I'm like, "Which guy?" So eventually I said, "Okay, we'll talk." I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "You know what? We'll talk, and I'll just forget him." So he called, and we started talking, and he told me he was cooking. And I'm like, he can cook? then he said he's cooking fried rice. I'm like, a guy can cook fried rice? Oh my God. I think this is the guy. So we kept talking. And in my head, I was thinking about this fried rice.
Oh, wow.
And then later on, as time went on, we met at school. When we go to school, we meet at school. We'll talk. And one day he didn't come to school. So I was like, "Why weren't you in school yesterday?" He said, "Oh, his sister is sick, so he had to stay home with her." And I'm looking like, "But you have another sister, an older one. Why didn't she stay with the sister? She's the girl. Why is the guy staying with the sister?" He said, "Well, I just had to stay with her. I can't just leave her like that." And I'm like, in my head, I kept saying, "Wow, this is a caring guy. He can cook.
He cares.
He cares. I'm done." And that was it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
She took everything out of my mouth, exactly how she is. And that is true. I grew up in a household of girls. I have 10 sisters. I am the only boy. So I am in the middle. That's one part. So and when she came to the apartment for the birthday party, that's exactly how we met. Actually, the way she came in, she wasn't glamorous. The way she just came is she was just being herself. Beautiful, not. She was just herself. No makeup, nothing big like that. No. Just something simple. She's like a student, and it was beautiful. And I like something about this girl. I need to pursue, and that's what I did.
Oh,
and
wow!
Here we are.
So you cook, you care.
Yes.
Those are the key things.
No, I'm going back to this cooking.
Go back, and I'm adding to that.
So eventually, when we started seeing each other and all, and I'm like, "Okay, when are we cooking this fried rice?" Then my friend told me, "Oh, he told you cook fried rice?" I said, "Yeah, that's what he said the first day we talked." She said, "Oh my God." She said we went to a party the day before and brought some fried rice home. He was warming it.
Hey, warming, cooking, hello. But ever since have I not cooked for you?
But now he's the greatest fried rice cooker.
There you go. I mean, I did what I did.
To learn the fried rice, because I kept
banging
it in. He said,
Wow.
"You told me you cook fried rice, so you better."
And I do that. I do
You
now.
do cook now.
I do cook. I mean, even the kids.
Excellent.
So
Yeah, my husband cooks too. He loves to cook. So, I mean, that's really good. It doesn't really depend on so much on how we met. It's what we make out of that encounter.
Exactly.
And so I'm so happy that you were able to like quickly send some things and be like, "Hey, this might be the guy for me," And these days we see kids or we see young adults going into marriage and they're looking for something else that is different. Because nowadays we have so many flashy, so many fake things. Somebody once said, I don't even know my wife. Once she puts up she takes away the wig, if she takes off the nails, if she takes all the pad out, she's she's completely different.
You're right about that. You're right about that. I mean, one of the things that I love about her, first of all, she was a student. She was a smart student. Most of the time that we were in school, I have some struggles in languages and calculus. She helped me. She tutored me. She helped me when I was in so every now and then, I mean, we've been together since 21 years old, and now 30 years after, we're still here together, and we grew as young couple, become best friends, and all of that. So yeah, it's a solid foundation that we both built.
Excellent. Now talk to me about foundation, because foundation is really important. For me personally, I made up my mind that once I'm married, I'm married. I came from a broken home. I saw my mom struggle. I saw my mom weep. I really never had any encounter with my dad. My dad was never in the picture. I remember I always have to go look for, when they say, bring your father to this school, I have to go talk to the neighbor, say, hey, we need to bring that to school tomorrow, and then he will follow me, and then he's not my dad, and da. So I just made up my mind, like, you know what? None of my kids is going to go through this drama. Once I'm married, I'm done. That is the person. Did your upbringing or your foundation or maybe your family situation, did it inform or impact your marriage life? Yes.
For my dad and mom, my dad married my mom. He was 25. My mom was 18. And they've been courting for a long time. Today happened to mark 40 years that I lost my mother. So on that end, they've known each other since he was, I say, 21, and she was 14, and then they got married at that age. So I learned marriage through them. My grandmother, after my mom passed, I mean, she married my grandfather, my uncles, my mom's sisters. So marriage has been in the family. Yeah. So and when we get together for Ikode and all that kind of stuff, that everybody bring their wife and children. So you study everybody's relationship, and then you determine, okay, if I'm gonna be married, I want something like this, I want something like that. Excellent. And those are the things that kind of motivate me when I saw her. They're like, okay, this is a quality that I want in a future partner, and that was it. What about you?
So for me, my story is similar to yours. So my mom and dad were separated, divorced, like when I was 8 years old, and it's four of us. They had four of us together. I'm number 3. So I was 8 when they did the divorce, and my mom had to take us. So I really grew up with my mom, and I never saw my dad again since that 8 years old till he passed away in 1991. So I never saw him or had any true relationship apart from the little memories I remembered from when I was younger. So I saw my mom as a strong woman, raising 4 kids by herself and with God's help. Yes. So I made up in my mind that if anything, if I marry, at one point I decided I wasn't even going to marry. Yeah. And then I was like, if I end up marrying, if anything negative happens, I am out. I am not going. And she didn't let me know. I told him that. I told him frankly before we went through anything. I'm like, I'm out, and I'm taking the kids. And
like she mentioned, she just said when her dad, 8 years old. I mean, it's something that I have to help bridge that gap. Because as a single man, there's a saying that's always said that it takes a man to break a woman's heart, but it takes another man to mend it. That journey was it was interesting. Say it again. It takes a man. Well, I always use the word boy to break a woman's heart, but it takes a real man to mend it. To mend it again. So we're saying she kind of experienced that breaking of heart through the dad. That's her first love. That's the personal first love, and that's the same thing for me. My mom Speak to the men. Speak to the men. Hello, talk to them. Hello, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, your daughter, you are her first love, no matter how you look at it. I mean, you the first man that she will first know, whether to the dance or to her recital or whatever. So if you are the person who is not there for that girl or that young lady that you are, I mean, you are planting a hard seed that is going to take another man to fix.
True.
And she might end up with the wrong man.
Exactly.
Ooh.
So, and those are the kind of things like that. I mean, for us, I always say this: when we met in 1983, we never break up, we never made up, we never separated.
Amen.
So,
Amen to that.
so we did everything together. I mean, long road trips. I mean, cook, travel. Those are the kind of things that we did. I mean, and it built that trust. It built that respect. And those are the things that you have. That's why we have this strong foundation. We've been together before we got married. We got married at 25. Well, so we've been together like what, 3-4 years before we got married. So that those are the keys. So that foundation is key.
It's key.
And during that time, she could tell you, I never did something that will break her trust in me.
Yes.
And she never did anything that would break my trust in her. So
you were both faithful to each other.
Correct.
And committed to each other.
Correct.
Yes.
Committed to the process also. Like,
Correct.
okay, this is our marriage. I'm going to be 100% committed to it.
Correct.
Not just one feet in and another feet out. Not looking back at your exes or looking back outside or anything.
No.
So your heart was fixed.
Yes.
To you. And that's what pastor says, when a man finds the right woman,
Definitely.
there is that satisfaction. And there will be no need for you to look elsewhere.
We men know. We know when we find that person. We do know. If a man said that he doesn't know, he's just lying to himself. So he do know. I mean, the first thing that I always tell them is like, I mean, if you love yourself, you respect yourself. It's gonna be easy for you to discover who that person is.
Wow.
So unless you want to lie to yourself, then go right ahead. But if you truly love and respect yourself, it's easier for you to then find that right person.
So to add to that, so our first couple of years of marriage was tough.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay, because it's tied into
So finding the right person, and just talking about these first few years of marriage. So some marriages, that first few years, there's no fixed time period.
no.
To some people, it could be 2 years.
Correct.
To some people, I
10
know
years.
Joyce Meyer said for 6 years, it was the man that was holding her marriage because every day she wants to quit the marriage. One other person said the first 2 years, every day I'm like, here's your divorce, I'm gone. But the man was the one that stood to make the marriage work eventually. So to you, the Bible said the two shall become one. That process of becoming one, I think that's where the whole struggle is. Because now you have somebody from a different background, different expectation, different vision, different purpose, and you also different. The process of becoming one, of becoming a team, is where we have the friction. Yes. It's like one here, and there's something pulling, but the two are trying to come together. So tell us this journey of your early marriage. How long does it take for this becoming one to eventually settle? Because I think it's a struggle.
It is a struggle. And a lot of things that me and her do a lot, we communicate a lot.
Good.
So those are the key things. When we were dating PG Community College, whenever we go up, we try to talk about how we see ourselves in future years. And she was one of the person that she's a go-getter. When me and her met, she was like, first year in Prince George's County, and she wanted to spend 2 years there. The following year, she said she's going to be out. The following year, she's going to be in this school. The following year, so she had a goal for herself. And for me to go after that, I have to make sure that I'm ready to. So I'm not like, just trying to pull her down. No, this is a motivation for you to. And this is so she's a more smarter woman than me when I was back then. Even though we were just silly, just
Thank you for opening up. Thank you.
I always told her all the time. I always tell her all the time. She's an asset to me. She's right here. She's an asset, not a liability.
Please let me
Making me blush now.
please do blush. Take it and enjoy. So you say she's an asset. Okay, we're gonna come back to this becoming one. What makes a woman an asset to a man? If you can, maybe just one or two, or in your own experience or in your own estimate.
I have my dreams of how I want my household to run. Oof. Yes, after my mom died, my dad didn't marry. He have a bunch of house, maybe some women behind him. But when I see so much chaos in there, that's not what I want. Oof. So for that point, I definitely learned that if I'm gonna marry somebody, I'm gonna marry somebody who's like me. Fortunately, I was fortunate enough. I was born here in the United States, Chicago to be exact. And I said, if I'm going to marry somebody else, I want to marry somebody who's just like me. And she happened to be somebody who was born in Dallas, Texas. And we met at Tech and stuff like that. So with the fact that she has a vision for herself, she sees herself what she want to become next year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now.
Oh, wow.
For me as a man, I'm not going to drag her away from that. I have to live up to that and be able to measure up.
So she actually pulled you.
She pulled a lot. I mean, trust me, as a 21-year-old guy, we could just be playing around, just going with different. But when you see a serious woman who has a vision for herself, it's something that pulls you as a guy. Like, oh, she's the same age as you. She graduated. She lived in Nigeria like you are. So why are you gonna be coming around and play and be playful and all that kind of stuff? That was one thing. And not only that. I would chase her. She also looked back at me and told me like, okay, you say you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. Hold me accountable for what I said. Because when she hold me accountable, that makes me say like, okay, this girl is not somebody I want to play with. It's not somebody I want to talk with her emotions.
Wow.
Because she want to make sure that I succeed as much as she want to be successful.
Perfect. So talk to us. Where do you get your motivation from? What motivated you to be this goal getter, this person that can set goals and accomplish it even while you're in this relationship? Because I hear some ladies say, oh, the relationship drew me back. He pulled me back. He wasn't going to allow me to continue to be who or what I want to be. How are you able to be that motivated like that?
So going back to my early life, I said my mom was the one that raised us, 4 kids by herself and with God's help. So I see my mom as a strong woman. She tried, you might have a chopper bike. I never had a bike.
Yeah.
But I was satisfied. Whatever she can provide for us, we'll take it. And we keep it moving. I don't go out and say, oh, I saw my friend this, and I want the same thing. No, because I know where I'm coming from. So that strength,
came from
her. And she had 3 girls and a boy. The other 2 girls are like that. So I guess with us growing up with her and seeing her struggles and everything she did for us, we gained that strength. And like you said, I set goals and I try to meet my goals. And by God's grace, I always meet them.
Good.
And those are the kind of things about her, meaning my mother-in-law. God bless her soul. She's passed on right now. She let me know. And that's why I make sure that you put her name, Moronke. Omolojumini. That's what she told me. She's the apple of her eye. Do not play with this. And I never played with it to begin with, but I could see that motivation from her. Even all her sisters, her older sister, Auntie Bola, Base, Blakari, brother. I mean, trust me, she's a teacher. And I also was a son and a daughter, son of a teacher. So that too helps. Because I'm a teacher. Hey, I'm a teacher. So you have to make sure that once a teacher give you the authority to that's with a child, you too as a teacher, you have to step up to make sure you don't mess that up. So, yeah.
Shout out to all the single women out there who are doing phenomenal job raising children by themselves. My mother did the same, raised 3 girls and a man also.
Oh, it's same with us.
Similar, right? And I'm the last one, so
Okay.
so I saw her. Maybe that's where I get my own motivation from also, but also from my husband, because I always even on my daily schedule, like I say, oh, I want to do this, and then I want to say, I've done it, I've completed it. I used to tell people I write a lot, I scribble a lot of things, and then when it's done, sometimes I put done, sometimes I put
I don't
star.
write. I don't write. Everything is here.
That's why your husband say you smart.
I'm not joking about that shit.
So this process of becoming one, because I want to hear your own, I want you to talk to us also. That moment, that season in your relationship where you are trying to figure out the balance, trying to understand each other. You want to finish it? How were you able to navigate that season in your relationship?
Oh, that season was it was tough. I won't lie. I would never lie about it. But she gave me a chance. She never gave up on me. Yeah. I never gave up on her.
Yeah.
One thing that I do know about pillars of marriage, they talk about communication, commitment, trust, and respect.
Yes.
She have never broken all of that for me that I know of. Because we guys, we talk immaturely sometimes when you're dealing with a smart woman. She never disgraced me when I do that, but when we behind the scene and all that kind of stuff,
you can sort it out.
We could sort this out, which I take that and earn that learning and move up from that point on. So those are the kind of things that I kind of I love about her. So it helps a lot, and that helps to build that foundation, and it helps to build that friendship. It helps you build that, strengthen that respect for everything that we do together. So
talk to us.
So with me, I know you're still going to ask that question. I had a problem with submission.
Yeah.
I had a big problem with submission. But based on what I said earlier, because all I saw was my mom.
Yeah, me too.
You know, so I never saw her say, this, that. No, it wasn't like that. And even up till now, we don't do that. We cook. I dish my food. Sometimes I dish for him. Sometimes he'll go there and dish himself and dish mine. So we don't have the
traditional
table. I mean, one of my friends asked me a couple of years ago, like, "Oh, okay, set table for kwe." I said no. She said, "Ah." I said no. I said I'm not used to that. I didn't grow up with that. So I'm not gonna start it. So just leave it as it is.
And
he's fine with it.
I didn't request it.
He's fine with it.
I mean, yes, I grew up in a household like that also, but I didn't request it. So
So with that, I was so heady. I knew that. Like, you can't tell me what I should do. We had that battle. We had that struggle. In the beginning, until I realized that you have to respect your husband, but it's not like I disrespect him or anything.
I don't understand.
But there's the power struggle.
Yes.
Because that's all I saw. So I believe, that's what I should be doing too. So we had that power struggle for a while until I realized, hey, you need to,
calm down.
Take a step back.
And she did.
Take a step back.
She did.
Let this man, control the ship. That's his ship. He's the sailor.
So I'm hearing like we have to give room for the man to lead.
Correct.
And that's where, you already say I'm going to ask the question. Because for me personally, I grew up exactly like you. Mother did everything. Even though I lived with my sister, I did the cake cooking there, but there's no attachment, that biological attachment. I said, this is my father, this is my mother, stuff like that. No. So I didn't really have all of those things either. So personally, going to marriage, I'm like, no man is going to tell me what to do. This word called submission, I hated it with passion. First of all, I said to myself, because by the special grace of God, I started life very young. and I was privileged to work in a place where I had a little bit of money. So I literally said to myself, I'm going to have everything I need to have in life, so that if any man wants to do nonsense, I can just drive that person away, like right there. I don't have time for men controlling, telling me what to do. Da, da, da. But my pastor was the one that God kind of used to help me to rethink that process. So our faith, we are Christians. I know faith plays a big role in our marriages. Bible says, husband, love your wife. It said this is a mystery. It's like the relationship between Christ and the church. It says, once you find that woman, love and sacrifice for that woman.
Absolutely.
How have you been able, to show love and affection and sacrifice for her as your princess or your queen?
Oh,
sorry.
Everything. For me, one thing that I normally do, women love gifts. Of course, you buy gifts, and cooking is another thing. She loves to cook. She love
to cook.
I mean, she love when I cook. She love when I cook. For
I
her. Sorry.
cook, but I don't love to
cook. She love when I cook for her. That's what I meant to say. She goes shopping. Some of the fun stuff that we do, we like traveling. Number one, we like traveling a lot. Outdoors activity. We're growing up back then. I mean, as we called together, she used to play right now we're playing ping pong together. We play tennis, table tennis. She played lawn tennis, track and field. Even the bicycle that we're working on there, so she could ride in two-wheel bicycle. She's still pushing back on that, but we're gonna get to that. For me.
So loving her was easy.
I have to guard their heart. Like I told you, it takes a man to break a woman's heart, but it takes another man to mend it. That was a journey for me. It was a big journey for me, because I have to make sure that she told me, if you know you're gonna be doing messy stuff, she's out, and I have to stand to let her know that I am not here to play games. I am yes, you went to the household that you went to, but it's not for me to recreate it. I do not want to recreate that for you, because we have children, and that also is gonna pass on to them. Because those are the things that we as men do wrong in concern. And I don't want to speak for men, but I do want to say what are the things that's going on in our society. That's the submission part that she did. So yeah, she first struggle, but give a chance to exercise their feeling. This is time to, and all of a sudden she began to withdraw back, and withdraw back, and that's it.
So you did say something that don't recreate the drama, the trauma that your wife went through growing up.
Definitely not.
That is so big. That is really big. And I think when a woman kind of understood that what I'm getting into is not going to impact me negatively, then she'll be willing to actually let go and submit.
Yes.
So the issue of a woman not being able to submit is because she's not comfortable enough.
Correct.
Or she's not trusting that person enough.
Correct.
And that's why she still wants to hold on to her, still guard herself.
Correct.
And still hold on to her power. So talk to us about submission. Bible says submit.
Yes.
What does submission means to you? And how have you been able to show that you are submitted to him?
So submission to me means reverencing your husband, or your husband really, as the head of the household. Giving him the reverence. Don't take the leadership of the household. After all, your last name is his last name. It's not your last name. So it's his household. So you have to, give him that awe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when we try to make decisions,
yes,
he will throw it at me first, and I'll be like, no, you talk first. Then if I have my own opinion, if it sounds right, yeah, cool, we go with that.
Yeah.
But if I'll give my own opinion to, why not, let's try this and this, and Let's work it together.
And she liked about it. One of the things that, especially when just some of these young people come to me, and I was like, the first question I was asking them, who asks who to marry who?
Oh.
So if the husband asks you as the woman to marry him, that makes him the foundation, that makes him the head. You are the operation of the house. You operate the house. You're the CEO, COO, CTO, treasurer, financial secretary. But the foundation is us men. The head of the house, or the roof, is also the man. That seems to be something that most people struggle to embrace or relinquish. I know that we are in the world of independent women and all that, so that, which is another thing. And we study our marriage from, because I know my grandfather, my great grandfather, my great great grandfather, and
You know them?
no, not know them. I know the history. I'm sorry. I know the history of them. Because all the way back. But one thing that I do know from this, like, some of the careers that most of them hold back then. My grandfather, from what I know, because I know my grandmother before I left, before I came to the United States, my grandfather was a farmer. He has a bunch of farms and also, and all the stuff that he farmed, obi, ologbo, cocoa, and my grandmother take them to the market to sell. Those are the kind of things that they do back then. Now we are in the age of career men, career women.
That's true.
Which is another way that a lot of them don't know. They haven't seen that before, and if they do see it, back then maybe the husband's an engineer, the wife might be a teacher, and that to take care of that. So that has changed and shifted the whole.
Absolutely.
So that's something that most marriages still struggle with right now, because they don't have example of that, so they recreating themselves, and that's another part that we have to look at. So
and that really brings to light parenting.
Correct.
Parenting, because just like our upbringings, formed who we are.
Yes.
We are also impacting the next generation.
Correct.
And so sometimes I hear kids says, I don't want to go through what my parents went through. Or for example, I used to work with a young lady, Vietnamese. And when my husband calls me, like during the day, to say, oh, I'm just checking on you to see how you're doing, she just say, your husband doesn't have a job. Why is he calling you? Didn't you sleep in the same house? Didn't you live the same house? I just hate to hear this phone ring. Those are the days where you work in the office where you have the line and there's one phone, not the days where you have cell phone. So it's like the phone will ring and it'll be, oh, Christiana, it's your call. And he said, oh my gosh, why is this man calling you every minute? And so one day we had a conversation. I'm like, hey, Lisa, what's your problem? She said, you see me? I'm not going to take nonsense from any man. And I don't want any man calling me every second, because I saw what my dad did to my mom. And I have made up my mind that I'm not going to allow any man to do that to me.
There you go.
So buttress what you said, like, don't recreate a trauma in a person's life.
Correct.
That brings parenting to light, because this thing we call marriage is like you are leaving a legacy.
Correct.
Yes.
Either you know it or not. Either you are there or not. Or you are there and you are being bad. If you are there and not doing it right, you are also creating a future problem for somebody that is coming up.
Absolutely. And those are when we have the opportunity to speak to young people like that, we always want to make sure that we go to those roots, because those are things that they have to answer for themselves, have to heal from for themselves.
Talk about healing
before they move up, because the man that you met or the woman that you met, if you don't know all of that buttress stuff that's down there, look what she said when her dad left. Only thing what she knows her mom. Now me coming along, she never saw. And if I have demand the way I have in my father's, I'm like, oh, set my table this, set my table that. Guess what that's gonna happen? A major friction. She probably left the relationship and go. But I have to accept her for who she was, and then basically go from that point. So it's for us men. I mean, yes, we are the foundation, we are the head of the household. We also have to know what is right. For our household.
Thank you. Please say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about ego. It's not about powerful. Trust me, we go out. People still think that we just got married, because we act like we've been together for 21. We just act like we kids and being ourselves and all that stuff. And many people didn't know that that's years between it. I mean, if a child was born during the time that we met, the child probably married now or having kids.
Have kids now. Yeah.
That's basically it. So men have to be men.
Because they are the foundation.
They are the foundation.
They are the foundation.
Correct. And once you get that woman, she's the operation of the home. And then you are the head.
Ooh.
Because if you don't let her operate, like she just said, every time I got some question, she throw it back at me. Mm-hmm. And the reason why she threw it back at me, I'm a plan A kind of guy.
Okay.
I plan A.
Plan A, plan B.
When I give my plan A, it's like I present my vision and we talk about it and all that kind of stuff. She will help me look at what I put her down and like, okay,
and have a plan.
Have a plan B, just in case this part doesn't work. And remember, sometimes we run into that.
Yeah.
This part doesn't work.
It didn't work.
But because I inform her, I let her know about it, she pointed out for me. And as a leader, I have to listen and find out about that, and then be able to incorporate that into what it is. Or if I like clothing and surgery, they couldn't buy that.
Shut it down.
No, don't do that.
Your wife is not an empty head.
Exactly, because I told you that she was my tutor in classes. When I was a PG community college, I was having struggle with calculus. Calculus 1 and 2.
So some men will not even acknowledge that there's
a girl from Milon come in calculus. Girlfriend ain't calling calculus. Easy by I'm growing up in Nigeria. I was a commerce major. She was a science major. So to my Nigeria, if I went Nigeria, commerce student, I think science student. But here we are. And that's pretty much. So you have to know when to know your strengths and your weaknesses and know how to do this.
Say it again. Because the reason is this. A lot of times, some men think they can fix everything. Including fixing your wife. Because you want to fix her to be
what you want her to be.
What you want to design her to be.
Fellas, do not attempt. Hear me go. Do not attempt. It's a risky business.
But it's the same way. It's the same thing around too. Some women try to fix men
to fit into their box.
Yes, and no, it can't work.
It can't work. So you have to let individual be
themselves.
They are, and then find an area of strength.
Yes.
And weaknesses, because at the end of the day we are complementing each other.
Correct.
So this is your area of strength. Like the other many years ago, I was studying the scripture that says, and God created them male and female.
Yes, ma'am.
The thing is this: at the first creation is one person, but inside that person is the female.
Exactly.
So literally, when you marry a woman, that is the one on the inside of you.
Correct.
And the only assignment, the only reason why a woman was created was because the man, the Bible says, he is not complete by himself.
Absolutely. I agree.
So when God gives you the person that's completing you, a lot of time that person is your opposite. That person is normally your opposite. So I say, for example, between myself and my husband, literally, we are like opposites. Personally, if I have my way, I will eat 5 days a week at the restaurant. He is the opposite. We go to buy stuff. I see what I like. I pick it up. He's the one that's checking the price. I'm not checking the price. I'm just picking it up.
I don't check.
Okay.
And I pick the most expensive thing without looking at the price.
There you go.
She's absolutely right on that.
So a lot of time God's going to give you somebody that is your opposite. And when that is the case, if you are not careful, you will see it as an enemy.
Yes.
As an antagonist. But if you can pull back, just like you said, you do A, but she's doing B.
Correct.
If you are not careful, you'll be like, oh, you think my A is not good enough? Or You think the A is not going to work. That's why you are creating B. But then, I see you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You want to say something?
No. You hitting it right there. I mean, I've got you.
No, we had an argument about that plan A, plan B one time.
Tell us.
So I forgot what we were talking about. So we already talked about it and we forgotten about it. And then the second day, in my head, I was just sitting there thinking. Like, what if this plan does not work? Then we'll do this. Then I said, let me bring it to his attention. I'm like, hey, you know what? The plan we talked about yesterday, if it doesn't work this way, let's think of this way. He was like, why won't it work? When I plan something, it's only A. There's no plan. I said, no, a plan is A. Plan A. Better plan is A.
Better B.
So let's have plan B. So we'll see,
And she like, I mean, because as a guy, plan A has to work. Because it's a vision that I have. It is.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work 100% of the time, but it's a plan, and that's a good thing about the vision. So.
Oh, okay. So. Good. Excellent. We have a question that's sure. Somebody want to ask.
Go ahead.
But maybe later.
Oh, or do you want to? We have live people. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we do. We have live people.
Hello, live people. I don't know.
Hello, live people. Oh my Jesus. Let's talk about a major challenge that you guys overcome, because every marriage go through that storming season. It becomes, it's either the boat sink or the boat will sail to the other side. Or challenges sometimes is either it brings us together or it brings us apart. Let's talk about one example that our audience can say they overcame. And how did you guys overcome it?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, we had a lot of challenges, I would say. We did have, I always tell people, young couples, that, when we went over our vows on our wedding day, that we didn't take it as a joke. It was serious, and I always say, we have been through all the different parts of the vows. For richer, for poorer.
You went through it.
We've been through it. And we thank God we came over it. And that's what he was saying about that picture he showed you earlier. That was the richer, poorer part. In health and in sickness, we did that. I had a major, health challenge that I had to go through a liver transplant. And I went through this illness for, I would say, 16 years.
Oh my Jesus.
Nobody knew, because I was still active, doing everything. And I myself didn't even knew, I was critically ill. The final year before the transplant, it got to a point. I mean, it's going to make me.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh.
It got to a point that I was going to start writing letters for my kids if I didn't make it. I was still going to work and doing everything. Even my co-workers didn't know anything was going on with me. So finally, we decided to, because when I went to my specialist, then he's done everything, given me, the medications, taking me to the highest dose and everything, and nothing was working anymore. So I myself already had my plan B. The last day I went to him, and he looked at my labs. He was an older guy. He sat there and he just shook his head. But I already made up my mind that day. So when he was shaking his head, I'm like, Doctor, can we do transplant? He said, that's what I was thinking about. I didn't know how to present it to you. I'm like, oh, well, God is working here. I said, you were thinking it, so it's not work. So that's how it put me on the transplant list. And it took me, I was 9 months on the list before they finally called me for the transplant. And to God be the glory, everything is good.
Amen.
Thank God.
Amen.
Organ donation is a great thing. I'm using this forum now to advocate for organ transplant. Before that, when my daughter got her license, her driver's license, they asked her if she wanted to be an organ donor. I told her no. Nobody's been on. I said, you know what will happen? They will cut you up and take all your organs and everything and put you empty in the thing. So she said, okay, she's not doing it. Not knowing that I would end up being a candidate for organ transplant. So after that, everybody in my household signed up to be an organ donor. Because if the person, God rest her soul, if she didn't sign up to be an organ donor, I probably won't be here today, because everything of hers matched mine perfectly. Haven't had any rejection or anything. To God be the glory since 2016.
16, yep. 9 years ago right now.
So
yeah, that was
so
an
that's
experience.
The health
part.
The health part.
And my husband, he was the stronghold of the house then. Because for me then, when I go to work and come back, I've already expended all my energy. So I just go straight to bed. I can't even cook. I can't even eat. So he was the one running the household then. The kids were still a little bit younger. Elizabeth she was still in high school, and Elijah was in elementary school. And then when I got the transplant, Elizabeth, that was her first semester in college. Yes. And it really affected her in college. That first semester, it really affected her. Because as she was entering in August, I went for the transplant in September. They actually called me while we were at her school.
That they find a match.
And my son was in middle school. But I
that was a major challenge.
It was.
Thank God for this man.
Hey, thank you, bro.
It was. We give God all the glory for that, because even that time also, the kid just our eldest daughter just started college that time, and we went to see Suicide Squad. That was when that movie came out, and I saw that. And when the call came in, everyone, she was shaking. Actually, I have to help them to take the call, and they asked me how to take her back to the hospital, Johns Hopkins Hospital. Shout out to them. I mean, they did excellent. But the kids was crying, and I told them, listen, I'm responsible for her. She's my wife. I promise you, with God on my side, she's gonna come out of your life. We prayed, and we headed on to the hospital. Was it tough? Absolutely. I mean, thank out to my family, Uncle Zach, Uncle Jacob, my cousins, my tribe, the wives, every one of them, Alade Shelu and others, so that they did everything. Because I mean, during that time, psychologically, I don't know where I was. Because when we wheeled her to the door that was about to take her to the surgery, there's a line over there, and they told us, this is where you say goodbye, and all that kind of stuff. And that emotion is like, you don't know if she's going to come out of it alive. But she did.
So my daughter just sent me a text.
Oh.
Hello, Elizabeth.
You can read it.
No, did I miss it?
Oh,
I think I messed it up. I always do.
It's fine. Yeah, but
I always do.
The biggest accomplishment, the biggest compliment I got after the transplant.
Oh, she said, I'm glad you never had to write those letters, Mom. Oh. Praise God. Shout out to Elizabeth.
Yeah. I think both of them are watching right now. Like,
yes,
so, I
excellent.
mean, but the approval that I got after because when they took out the surgery, name every part of her body, tubes was coming out. But the kids saw her. They saw what it is, and they know what effort I put in. So when they actually came back, I think about 2-3 weeks later, and she was actually walking around, I saw that the biggest thank you I got was from both our children. Elizabeth looked at me after she came back from break at school or thing like that. Well, they have a little break, and she's like, "Daddy, you did a good job.
Oh.
Thank you."
Oh.
My son, he was in 8th grade. All he did as a young man was just stand there, look at me. He had the words, but he can't let it come out.
Oh.
You could see that. And when I hugged him, he just let it out because it was a tough time on all of us.
Yeah.
Shout out to my tribe. They did an absolutely tribe, but being the fact that mom and dad are in this hospital taking care of each other and all that kind of stuff, and they never went off to go. I mean, it was something that we are proud of because of how we assisted them and all that kind of stuff. And seeing her today, but 9 years now, it's been 7 years now. I can't say anything but give God to glory.
Amen. Praise God. Praise God. That's such a beautiful, touching story. Because in relationship, when you go to the altar and you take your vows, one of the things that the Lord spoke to me about is a lot of time people go to the altar, they don't mean what they're saying on the altar.
Yes.
Then number 2, as soon as they walk down the altar, they forgot about it.
Absolutely.
So the Lord said for every marriage that's going to succeed, if you are listening to me, listen. Mean the words that you go there to say, because an altar is a place of sacrifice.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's a place of dedication. It's a place of commitment. And when you walk down that aisle and you are standing on the altar, you are not standing before men, you're standing before God. And every word you speak to one another there, God is going to hold you accountable for it. I like the way you put it. In richer and in poorer, you went through it. That means there was a season in this relationship where money or finance was a challenge. We went through our own too. You talk about the health in health and in health and in sickness and in health. His too, for better for worse. So I mean, all we can say now is all the for better for worse in health and in sickness for rich and poorer is all gone. It has formed our foundation, and now we are looking ahead. Because I remember when I called you, you said, "Oh, we're in Canada." Because my wife just booked a trip, and I'm just like, "Oh wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful." So you've actually gone through that phase, all the phases,
Of course.
Finally, let me quickly ask: who makes the money decision in the home?
We both do.
Okay, good.
She's a CFO.
She's the CFO.
CTO. I'm just making sure that there's funding
in the treasury.
And the treasury, and that's what I'm buying. So she's. I mean, what can I say?
Really, we both do.
We both do, of course, but
like we have our joint.
Yeah.
And the
Individual investment
woman,
accounts.
I have my
own
stash.
Excellent.
But if I'm spending for my stash, I still tell him that's how bad it is. He'll still be like, "Oh yeah, I saw this thing.
Can
it's
you buy
about $500? No, it's about $500. I'm gonna buy it." He'll be like, "Yeah, you have the money, buy it."
So I see what you're saying. So because money too can become an issue.
Oh yeah, it can.
That was never an issue.
Because you guys have a plan of how we're going to run the finance.
Let me put it. When we first met, I was flipping burgers.
You were doing what?
I was flipping burgers.
Oh.
Well, I wasn't working.
She wasn't working there. Then when she got her degree as a nursing, I was working at a gas station. So even when she graduated from her undergrad, when they gave her certificate and all that, what did I actually?
When we got home,
yeah.
So he said, "Okay, now you're done with your nursing school.
Your first
degree.
degree.
Start making money, So what's going to happen between us?"
Oh.
Because I'm not done yet. I'm still working at the gas station, and I don't want to hold you down if you have other plans. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, once I make up my mind for something, that's it.
It's done.
And
I don't care if you work in that gas station forever and ever.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm fine.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I want to come to with the independent woman stuff. And there's a lot of things that most people would not. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm here, you here."
Yeah, because I hear phrases like marry up and marry down.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you're marrying economical status that is beneath you. and they say, oh, you marry up or you marry down. No, there's no up and there is no down in a relationship.
Correct.
It's one.
Correct.
Yes.
It's one. The mindset. Before we go, let's talk about how do you guys manage with the schedule, the children and everything. How do you manage intimacy? Because intimacy is big part of relationship.
We were just intimate like that. Did you just see us? Didn't you see us? Didn't you see? We were just intimate. I don't know what else you want. You want to give us a
No, Elizabeth sometimes will be like, guys, I need to go use Lysol to clean my eyes. Guys.
No, I mean, intimacy is everything. I mean, just like that now, you saw the way I hold hand. We could just be walking around, hold our hands. Yeah, sex is
it's just
key,
natural.
reasonable, but
It's natural to us. We
To us,
don't see it as like we went to a function not too long ago, and he was holding me. They were doing praise and worship, and he was holding me. And after the guy came, he said, "Uncle, we're doing praise. Why are you holding your wife?"
it's just natural.
I said he was.
You didn't even know.
I didn't even know that. I mean, because I mean that's
Natural. I
It's
don't
just
even
natural.
think about it.
You didn't know he was holding your hand, and you don't know you were holding.
I just.
Oh my Jesus, that is so beautiful.
I mean, and we do that all the time. We do that all the time when we and people are like, can you guys get a room? I'm like, what? Really? What we doing?
Oh, that is wonderful. Because please, no matter where your marriage is, it can work. If you can work on it. If something is not working, you need to work on it.
Correct.
Intimacy is needed in relationship. It's not only sex. No. Just the affection. Just know each other's language. She likes gifts. You give her what she likes. And she like it's money. I mean, marriage is meant to be beautiful. You have somebody to share your life with. You have somebody to share your concerns and everything with. Okay, we have a question. It says, what do you do if a man is not able to be strategic with the vision of his family? How does the wife help him? Read it. Let's read it again. It says, yeah, you don't have your glasses. You two don't have your glasses.
Yeah, I have
right?
my glasses right here.
Okay, so you can read it.
All right.
Thank you for that question.
Live people. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do if a man is not able to strategically with your vision of his family? How does the wife help him? Well, the way to me,
if the man is not strategic with the
correct,
vision.
and that could be a challenge for most men because. Maybe because of our upbringing as a teacher, I'm a teacher, like so we chase ourselves. Like from the age that we are right now, we are both in the 51. What do we see ourselves in 51, 52, and all that kind of stuff? That those are things that we walk upon. And how do we see both of us? Because that's different from what I see myself, what I see her, me and her, when I see the whole household.
Jesus, that is
so you have to
beautiful.
look at it in a way that it will benefit both.
You have to look at it holistically.
Exactly. So
Not
thank you.
just
Me.
No, it's not about you because you
guys
built.
meet yourselves
At the middle.
at the middle.
So I mean,
We have
that's
another
a tough one.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if I see that he's lagging behind and stuff like that, I try to bring him along, and if he sees that I'm lagging, he tries to bring me along too.
Yeah. So like the vision, do you guys sit down and write vision? Or do you guys, because I know a lot of time they say at the beginning of the year, write goals and this and that, And I've seen a lot, and I'm sorry, I've seen a lot of Nigerian men goes into marriage without even any vision. They don't have anything. They I love you, so everybody continue to do your thing.
Our vision was simple. I mean, as we met, besides us flipping burgers, she only know me with I have a car and my uniform to go flip burgers and a twin size bed. So
And we both slept on that
twin-size bed for a while before we could get a bed and then an apartment but we know that
It's temporary.
and we see and we have friends around that we look up to, or we kind of mother and some nice people, but we set those goals for ourselves and we work at it. We didn't just set it and lay back and just watch it too. No. We have to work. There's some when we have kids, I work night sometimes. She work in the middle in the daytime, or I work in the daytime. So those are how we things. And sometimes we have to take the kids to some of our tribe to help us, or we go to daycare center. So it's you guys have to communicate and work interchangeably. So it's not balance it out. You can't go only alone. Nobody
can say, oh, it's the woman's job to take care of the kids.
That brings me to gender role.
And you go drop them, you go pick them up.
No.
And my job is just to go and it doesn't work that way.
So
we plan it as, okay, you leave for work at this time. I would leave work a little later so I can drop them off. And then we're communicating, like, as you said, you call your husband calls you every time. Oh, this man, he FaceTimes me, actually. Sometimes I'm in the meeting, I'll be like, can't talk right now. Can't talk right now. So
and before FaceTime, we only have this Nokia phone that you have to call. That was back then, and so that's to tell us how old we are. But but at the same time, we use those Nokia phone. We still communicate and not to know where everybody is, and everybody's coming from everywhere. You have to be at this certain time. So, and for guys, when you communicate with your wife and you commit to that stuff, please follow through. Please follow through, because those are the things that build that trust, that build that respect, that every time that your word is bond, you go for that. You make sure that whatever you promise your wife or you promise your household, you follow through on it.
So talking about this strategic vision for the family, communication is key, like you said.
Absolutely.
You can't have it in your head.
And not to speak on communication, not all communication requires you to open your mouth.
Ooh, okay.
There's some communication that we just look at each other like this,
and then you're done.
We're at a point now in our lives that it seems like we're teleporting, like thinking the same thing,
the same way
at the same time. So as he's saying, I'm like, I was just thinking about that.
And it's because
exactly. So I always advise some of the young couples, you're gonna build that. It's not something that's gonna start immediately, you guys, but you're gonna build up onto that.
Build on it.
But and once you discover there's some communication, you're just gonna at the same time you're just gonna have eye contact, and all of a sudden that you have a communication right there, boom, and then you act on it. So if you think that, but you didn't tell me, soft for me now. No. There's a time she didn't soft for you. You would just
You will just know.
You will just know.
You know what the message
exactly.
is. So that is paying attention to, deliberately paying attention to each other.
There you go.
Oh. Okay.
Do you guys have what? Let me see. I'm sorry. Do you guys have a mentor, or do you speak? Okay, we don't have therapist. I want a therapist. We are own a therapist.
Each other's therapist.
We just,
mentors.
We have our tribes.
I'll give it to Pastor Agbeja though, because like we had our marriage counseling with him, and that's one thing I will advise everybody to do. Make sure you do that marriage counseling, because that's where you will know each other's what would I call it?
Points of,
I don't know what to call it, but you will know each other.
I can't remember exactly.
They gave us some tests.
Yes. Temperament trait. Temperament
trait. They gave us those tests, and that thing was just right to the T.
Ooh.
Yes.
Everything about me, everything about him, based on what we answered, it was just
powerful.
It really helped us.
Yeah. So and one of the things I was advised some of the young couples, and I'm glad that we have been looked at most of the time. Young couples coming up, look for people who have been married successfully longer than you. I mean, your single friends, they can't help you. Trust me, they're gonna be falling off one by one. I'll be honest with you on that. So at certain time, I mean, you don't have to push them away, but they're gonna be the person that's gonna be dropping off one by one. And then when they become compatible with you, you're gonna meet back together. You're gonna be back together.
I had single friends for a long time.
But it takes a while, and that's one thing about it.
Yeah.
So.
But, like he said, be closer to like older couples, younger couples like yourselves.
Yeah.
It's hard to learn.
It's hard to learn because
you are all going
doing
through the same thing,
and you're gonna have the same problem at the same time.
And,
so you won't able to
it
solve
can,
it.
it can end up to giving the wrong advice.
Exactly.
Because like I'll say, oh, you come to me and say, my husband comes, so he drops his socks here, he drops his underwear. I'll be like, no, not in my house. You can't do that. And then you will go home and start reacting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this one telling you it's not like that. She can't even talk in the house. Talk less of saying it can be like that.
Yeah.
So
be mindful of who is giving you advice.
Exactly.
In your relationship.
Exactly.
That's a strong point, because every person we've spoken to had somebody in their life that mentored them.
Oh, definitely.
Somehow.
Definitely.
Because this marriage, Bible says, it's like an institution. It's like somebody entering into a university and you really don't know where to go. So I say to myself a lot of times, you don't want to make the mistake that others have made. Yes. You want to learn from their mistakes so that you don't repeat
Correct.
it. Right?
Correct.
So that brings to point also for and that's exactly what you're doing today. And that's what we're doing. We're saying, hey, your marriage needs mentoring. You need people to counsel you. It may not have the title of a therapist, but somebody you can look up onto.
Yes.
And I always just say, if a person tells you I fear nobody or I respect nobody, run away. Run away. Because if you would have somebody who nobody can correct, who nobody can say, hey, you are heading for a destruction. So mentoring, you mentioned your tribe. It could be your church. It could be somebody in your community.
And your family members.
Your family members, whom you know will give you honest assessment of the situation. Not somebody, like you said, that's going to just give you the wrong counsel, and at the end of the day, the whole thing is falling apart. And if somebody gives you counsel, please follow through. Because I've seen a lot of people, as a pastor and as little age, marriage something, you tell some people, do this, is going to help your marriage, but they'll never do it.
Of course.
Because they want to be who they are. The marriage actually change us. I'm not saying it's going to change your personality. No. It gives you a different assessment of yourself.
And I always give a
I know our time is fast spent.
I know it's fast spent.
Okay.
It's just fine. It's fine. I just want to mention.
Continue.
I always mention something about the heart of fruit called artichoke. Yeah. And it's some of the things that I always advise people. I mean, it's an ugly vegetable or whatever you want to call it. But as you begin to peel it, that's how your marriage becomes. And then when you get to the heart of it, it's so sweet. No. Look at 30 years in marriage right now. Yeah. We still act. Look at how we acting right now. Yeah. We acting like we just met each other. Yeah. Because we have gone through a lot of stuff and we have built that connection. That connection that continues to glow in us right now, and we're still building. Yes, we're still building. Yes. I mean, it's never ending. But at the same time, we are different phases in marriage. The early phases, the parental phases, and now the empty house phases. Yeah, and then the grandparent phases. Yeah, that's gonna keep on. That's life. It's gonna keep on going. It's gonna keep on going. And
so at one point in life, it was just the two of you.
Exactly. Yes.
Then the kids came in.
So this there was the other day I was telling pastor, I said, you start alone, and then you became 2, and then we became 5, and now at one point we're down to 4, we're down to 3, and now we're back to 2. Yep. You see, that's how life is.
Yep.
So just be patient. When you get back to that being 2, you've learned a lot. Now, is it everything that happens that in those days that will make me talk and scream and yell? Is that the same thing now? I've learned my lesson.
Now, with the going back to the empty nester, I would like to give everybody an advice.
Thank you.
So when it was just the 2 of you, and then you had the children, please make time for each other. Don't just focus solely on the kids, because I know we women will be like, oh, my kids, everything is my kids first. But please make time for your husband. Husbands, make time for your spouse too, or for your wife. Because when you two, when the time goes around and you two become empty nester, then it's just the 2 of you. There's no kids you are running around for, or kids that you use as an excuse or anything anymore. So we see a lot of couples, when they become empty nesters, they start struggling again because they've solely focused their lives on the kids and they didn't have time for each other. So when they become empty nesters, they're like strangers to each other. So please.
That's why you have marriages.
Make time for
20, 25, 30 years falling apart. They say, oh, our last child has gone to college.
Don't even get apart. We grow
They grow apart. And then they grow apart. Yes. Instead of grow together, they grow apart. Question: I hear the importance of faith in your marriage. What are some scriptures that have helped you when challenges arise?
One of my prayers in the morning, Psalm 121. I like the Yoruba version instead of the English version. Yorubas kind of speak deep.
Okay.
Those are some of the Psalms, Psalm 23, of course. There's various scripture that I do go to, but those are some of my go-to ones that I always pray about. And not only that, I mean, have the connection with one another.
Yes.
I talk about intimacy, but intimacy is not about just sex or just I show me yours, you show me hers, or whatever that is. But intimacy could be just holding hands, or sometimes we just put our foreheads on top of one another and just hold each other's hand and just breathe.
Oh.
Just breathe.
He likes to meditate.
I like to meditate a lot, and I don't want to hear your voice. I just want to and then the heartbeat just goes they're singing together, and then once that's finished, you just do whatever. Sometimes you're like, you want to go to New York? We could just go back to like, you want to go to New York? She's like, okay.
We did that last
with just like a 30 minutes notice, and then she's packed. Boom, we go. Or go to Atlanta. 30 minutes, we're gone. So those are the things that will keep you fun in marriage. I mean, yeah, you travel with the kids, but have time for you and her. Long distance travel, road trip. I always advise road trip. Road trip is one of the things. You will learn something new about yourself. You learn something new about each other. Those are some of the closest things that we do a lot that we kind of help. And those are the advice that we will gather from our tribes. Those just and guys, bedroom is not only intimacy. Yeah, go out there and do fun stuff. So I don't know.
Do fun stuff together.
Yeah, do fun stuff together.
Yeah.
So.
There are a lot of scriptures that can help depending on the situation in your marriage, depending on what you are addressing in the marriage. So like he says, Psalm 121, that is his like go-to scripture. And that scripture communicates to him and to his need at that particular point in time. So whatever you are going through in your marriage is finances. You're going to look for scriptures on finances. If it is love, you're going to look for scriptures on love. If it is fertility, parenting, all of those things, you're going to look for those scriptures, and you're going to take those scriptures to the Lord in prayers. Excellent. Whew.
And when it comes to marriage, I always say this to all the youths: there's nothing new under the sun. Marriage has been since the beginning of whatever. So if you think that you are new at it, no, you're not. There's people out there who've been in it for a long time. There's people who could. You just have to be ready to submit yourself into the and there's lots of knowledge out there. They will talk about you about some of their failures, and some of their failures could help you in preventing your failure. So those are kind of things that you want to do. So you're not on this alone, unless you want to be, then fine.
Yes.
But you're not on this alone. There's people who have done it, there are people who are still doing it, and there's people who are enjoying it. So yeah, go ahead.
Marriage can be enjoyed, not endured, right? So. And we talk about sacrifice. Jesus Christ died for the whole world. Is it everybody in the whole world now that believe in Jesus Christ? No. So all this advice, all these words, they are coming out to you to help your marriage. Pick which one is yours and use it. Words are just words until you implement it. Take action. You mentioned something very important. When you have children, don't let it just be all attention is on the child or on the children. Have time for one another.
Yes.
You started together, and before you know, the kids will be gone.
Oh, whoa.
They will be gone.
They will be gone.
And if you don't have a foundation with each other, when that time comes, you have nothing to fall on. That's why we see marriages 30 years, 35 years falling apart. I said, when you marry someone for 35 years and you still falling apart,
that's an investment.
I tell you, where do you go to start again? I don't know.
Exactly.
What do you want? So we're not judging you or condemning you. No, we're putting it out there that some of these things that they have spoken about has helped them. It can help you too. So if you have questions, please send your questions to us. We will continue to answer your questions. But the main purpose for Matters in Marriage is for us to share life experiences in every area so that people can learn and their marriage can be a blessing. Remember, your marriage is a legacy you are leaving behind. Successful or not successful, somebody is going to reap whatever you've sown in your marriage. We don't have time. We will have loved to continue.
Whoa.
It's been such a great honor and just a pleasure to just talk to the two of you. And I pray the heart transplant, by the special grace of God, it will carry you through life.
Amen.
The Lord will continue to renew it by His own power.
Amen.
In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And as you guys are enjoying your empty nester now,
It's enjoyable. It is enjoyable.
it's enjoyable.
Just whatever
I think it's so beautiful. And thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having us.
Don't be surprised if I call you again, because we will never be done talking about marriage.
She get in touch with me all the time. So I mean,
And-
Teresa's she's my
And not
one.
only that, guys, young people, he loves to counsel. He loves to work with newlywed. If you want his contact information, I can give it to you, or you can sort him out on the social platform. He is a mentor. I know. Thank you. You mentor my children. Thank you so very much.
Appreciate the
They
opportunity.
speak so highly of you. I mean, she is successful by the special grace of God. So thank you for that investment
Thank
in
you.
her.
Thanks for
Because they say
trusting
it takes a community, right,
Yes, it does.
to raise children.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
have found your own niche in the community,
Okay.
and that niche is helping young
we
people
were watching you.
to
We
be
were watching you
successful.
and Daddy.
What he always says is he's doing copy and paste.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just copy and pasting.
Copy and pasting. Oh, that is so beautiful. So thank you so much. Thank you this afternoon,
Thank you.
this evening. Please share this broadcast on your platform. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And I want to say special thank you to my husband, Tommy Case. That's why he loves to be called. Thank you for supporting so much. Thank you to the Fire Miss for the great job in putting this together. And in December, let me tell you, God is a good God. You know, we spoke to a couple. We said, hey, can you come? And they were dragging. And I just said, maybe in December we will not have any couples couch. And this morning, boom, they send us all the information. They're coming in December.
Wow.
By the special grace of God.
Thank God.
This family have been married for a long time.
Wow.
They have wealth of experiences. They're going to be sharing their story. So thank you. December edition is going to be great. See you then. Stay blessed. Love one another. Marriage is beautiful. God bless you.
Thank you.
Matters in the marriage. Let's talk about it.